All right, so you know the drill, and Ted Cruz knows the drill right now. Speaking of San Antonio, where we just heard from Carl Cameron, he has to get that W there. Now, the question is, does it have to be a big win? He probably would just be happy with a win at all. 155 states that are going to be apportioned out here based on the size of the victory and each candidate's claim they're in. Now, we should explain here, though, that it is possible that if he wins his state, he might not win as many delegates as, let's say, for example, most people would think with 155 delegates at stake. The way they're sort of parceled out in various districts, he and Donald Trump could end up splitting that. No way to know for sure, just that if you're Senator Ted Cruz, you want to leave your home state with a victory. Pollster Lee Carter's been looking into this, and all these must-win states for these other guys, I guess for all of them, win at home, win at home, win at home, huh?
They have to win at home. Now, I don't think that anyone besides Kasich is going to go home if they don't win. I think Rubio's in for the long haul. I think Cruz is likely going to win. Is he going to win by enough for it to be significant? I don't think so. Right now we're looking at spreads in the polls, and you know it's closing in. He's still about 9 points ahead if you look at the collective of the polls, but that's not enough because it's a proportional state. So if he doesn't take 50% of the votes, he doesn't get all the votes. And so he could leave Texas having equal delegate counts with Trump and himself, and if Rubio breaks the 20% threshold, which he's very well could do, then they could go out with equal numbers of delegates. It's a really interesting play.
You know, Leo, another one of my crackpot theories, which are just that crackpot, so accept with a grain of salt, is the narrative tomorrow night could be Ted Cruz. Let's say if Marco Rubio doesn't win any state, even if he places well, Cruz wins his state, Cruz will come back and say, well, look at me, I've won 2 states, Texas, a biggie, and Iowa, an important kickoff, and Marco Rubio has yet to win one, putting further pressure on Rubio when it comes to his home state of Florida, huh?
Absolutely. I think that there's a very good chance that Rubio could come out of this without winning a single state. Now, and I don't think that any indication is that he thinks that he should still go home. And part of that is because on Super Tuesday, we've got this proportional issue. So he feels like he can still stay in the game long enough to get the momentum that he needs to go into March 15th.
What would that momentum be then, Lee? I mean, let's say 595 delegates at stake tomorrow. The rule of thumb seems to be, at least from smart folks like you, is that Donald Trump stands to get about 300 to 350 of them, and the rest portioned out to the others. That would widen that delegate lead, and then we get to winner-take-all states in a couple of weeks. That would be big.
It would be big, and it would be really, really hard to break the momentum. In fact, I see very little way that he could break the momentum, but I think there's a lot of strategies that they're deploying right now that are different than we've seen before. I think we see Rubio is really trying to take Trump out at the knees. There's a lot of stories coming out today, even about immigration, about other things. All bets are off right now. All focus is on trying to take down Trump. And I think their hope is that they can do that by March 15th in time for these other winner-take-all states for them to try and make up ground. I think Cruz and Rubio have similar strategies, and it's going to be hard for either one of them to come ahead. If we were going to have just one, not the other, then we could have a real race, and we could see maybe Trump would have to, would have a real race on his hands. But there's no sign, there's no indication from either Rubio or from Cruz right now that they're going to drop out.
Yeah, well, they do have the money. Both of them do have the money, and the money still keeps coming in, as it does for Ben Carson.
They sure do.
All right, thank you very, very much. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, good.